Hope all of you are very fine. If you haven't subscribed our channel yet, then subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon for more amazing videos like Number 10. Khan Chichikleri. Khan Chichikleri tells the moving story of Dilan and Baran and the marriage they are forced into to end a blood feud despite the hostility of those around them, igniting a passion that will either blossom into love or bring devastation. Baran must put aside hatred of his enemies to save his brother and overcome the guilt he feels over an attack that killed his mother. As he seeks to bring peace to a family vying for revenge, Destiny comes calling when Baran's uncle reveals he has tracked down those who attacked his parents, but his uncle hides a terrible secret. He is lying a trap and is actually the person behind the attack, hoping to get his hands on the family fortune if Baran were to take revenge and go to prison. Number 9. Uchki's Kardesh. Once upon a time, in a beautiful yet mysterious country, there lived three sisters named Turkhan, Donush, and Daria. As a close knit family, they would dream of a promising future every night, perhaps such an upbringing that was similar to a fairy tale on the pine scented streets of Avlik had not prepared them for the grim reality of adulthood. Over time, the sisters discovered that life and the choices that are accompanied by it are not as easy as they seem. Inconceivable secrets can be hidden even by those who are trusted the most, and horrific illnesses can lead to the resurrection of the past. This leads them to the question, is there anything in the world that time cannot heal? Number 8. Sya Byas Ashk. Farhat is a cold blooded hitman with a traumatic past. He works for his criminal uncle Namik. On the other hand, Asli is a young and idealistic surgeon who wishes to serve humanity. One day, their paths cross when Asli operates on a man that Farhat shoots. Due to the surgery, Asli unintentionally puts herself in an odd position, which forces her to marry Farhat to save her life. Stuck in power games, the two who are as different from each other as black and white have to get along. However, Farhat has too dirty of a life to live an innocent love story. What happens when the woman who saves lives is captured by the man who takes them? A passionate love is about to be born. Number 7. Yemen. Rehan is a country girl, humble, kind, and caring, who promising to marry the son of old family friend Hikmat after he reveals a terminal diagnosis. Hikmat is worried about what will become of his family fortune if left to his frivolous son and greedy wife, whose only concern is to cement her place among Istanbul's high society. Amir is the son in question, a rebel who prefers to take risks and fritter away his father's hard earned money rather than work in the family business. He agrees to the marriage, but with his own promise. He vows to make life miserable for Rihan to the extent that she will divorce him, proving to his father that he should be allowed to make his own decisions in life. Number 6. Afili Ashk. Handsome and womanizer Karim is the son of Yeter family who has one of the oldest textile business in Istanbul. With his creative mind, he made his family company la leader of the sector with a starter work as they were about to get out of date. He accomplishes it, but he is still not a proper man in the eyes of his father because Karim lives his life to the fullest by whining, dining, traveling and hanging out with as many girls as he can. Aisha, on the other hand, works as Karim's factory. She is a smart, beautiful, and big hearted girl who leads a boring, joyless life under the control of her two brothers. One of them is despotic while the other is idle. Number 5. Isarat. Orhun is a successful businessman who was raised in a wealthy but loveless family along with his twin sister Nihan, younger sister Noorsha, and their cold, distant mother Afife. Some time ago, Nihan left to do volunteer work as a doctor in Eritrea, but recently she has been impossible to contact and her family is worried about her. Orhun decides to go after his twin sister and bring her back home. While looking for his sister, he comes across Hira, a poor girl living the life of a prisoner at the hands of traffickers. When they find out that Nihan has been poisoned and killed by a local gang, Orhun breaks down. When it emerges that it was actually Hira who was set up by the gang and poisoned his sister, Orhun hatches an evil revenge plan. He will take Hira home with him, but rather than saving her from life as a prisoner, he will make things even worse for her. Number 4. Kara Sevda. From a middle class family, Kemal's only aim in life is to make a living and survive. A mine engineering student, he does not believe in miracles, especially those related to love. But his world turns upside down when Nihan comes into his monotonous life. From a wealthy family, Nihan lives in an affluent area of the neighborhood. However, she minds herself removed from the values of an environment and distant to her own world. Almost impossible, Kemal and Nihan's love surpasses their differences and they manage to stay together until Kemal has to leave Istanbul to work in a mine in Zonguldak. Soon after, Nihan marries wealthy businessman Amir Kozcuoglu, who has been in love with her since childhood. Number 3. Yali Chapkani. Hali Saga is the owner of a large jewelry empire and the head of the Korhan family. Even though his son Orhan and oldest grandson Fuad run most of the business, he still makes the most important decisions in the company. His younger grandson Firid, who is the total opposite of his brother Fuad, is a very irresponsible young bachelor who just returned from abroad where he went to study. Halis can't take any more of his recklessness and he charges his widowed daughter-in-law Ifakat with finding him a nice girl to marry. The news that Halis Aga is looking for a bride for his grandson comes like a bolt from the blue into Kazim's mansion in Gaziantep. Kazim's only hope to get rich are his beautiful daughters Suna and Seyran. Number 2. Saint Kal Kapimi. Ada is a bright, beautiful young woman working at a florist. She dreams of getting her degree and moving to Italy, but her dreams are shattered when the head to the Bolat Holding Company cancels her scholarship, so she has to drop out of university. Now only two things keep her going: her love of plants and her hatred of Sarkan Bolat. When Sarkan comes to speak at a university, Ada is protesting outside. A series of unfortunate events leaves these two handcuffed together for most of the day, during when Ada learns that Sarkar really is everything she hates, arrogant, self-centered, and a control freak. For his part, Sarkar could not care less, but when the media mistakenly linked the two, he hatches a plan to use Ada to get back at the ex-girlfriend who dumped him and is now engaged to another man. Number 1. Sila. Sila is a young girl who, shortly after being born, is snatched away from her family and her roots, taken to Istanbul, where she is adopted by a rich family who tell her that all her family died. Although from an Eastern origins, Sila is brought up in a modern Western style. One day, her perfect life crumbles when she meets her so-called dead family and their backward traditions. Her real father suddenly appears and lies that her mother is dying and she goes to Mardin to see her. Her life soon changes when she is forced to marry to Boran Aga, a total stranger, to save the life of her elder brother. If you like our video, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell icon for more amazing videos like this.